Ah, yes, the DCU. What a trip it was, huh? Having launched at 2013, the year that gave us Thor 2, Kick-Ass 2,
Hey, bitch! I'll be ready to get your ass kicked.
the Wolverine, and Iron Man 2.
We're the best! We know!
Jesus, that was a really bad year for comic book movies, huh? Warner Brothers saw what Disney was doing and wanted some of that pie.
I have no idea what you just said.
Thus forming the DCU. But as a result of this, they gave us one of the most mixed franchises in cinematic history. And today, I want to give my own personal opinions on each of the movies that are under the DCU moniker. That means no Joker, the Batman, and Joker, Fluey sucks. I'm not going to give it respect because that film will suck my dick. So without further ado, let's get this retrospective started. But before that, if you fellas enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like, comment, sub. That'll be really great, guys. Alright, let's get this video started.
Okay.
And with this begins the Zack era.
I've seen much worse, such as Captain America and Captain America the Winter Soldier.
And what we got is unironically quite the solid introduction to this universe. Like, it's got some issues, mind you, but compared to its Marvel contemporaries, it's golden. For one, the acting across the board is actually quite solid with having an A-list cast, which Snyder Films regularly excels on. The highlights being with Henry Cavill, as the Man of Steel himself, being one of the best castings for a fictional character in cinematic history. Can't deny that. Kevin Costner has Papa
What
Kent,
was I supposed to do? Die?
Maybe.
who gives quite the accurate portrayal of an overprotective parent with a hint of abandonment issues. Shaw, I can attest to this myself, as I am something of an abuse victim myself. And then there's Michael Shannon, who plays himself.
Saying stuff like, yeah, what's kickball? Well, it's time someone told you, no one fucking likes it!
Overall, the cast is very motivated for the amounts they get paid. So, yeah. If I told you that a Superman movie will have better Dragon Ball-esque action than an actual Dragon Ball movie, I would have been like, sure, you're jesting. But it's true. The action is, honest to God, some of the most electrifying shit I have ever seen in any superhero film ever. Zack has always been a legit great action director, since his 300 and Sucker Punch days. In this film, he and his crew were literally let off the leash. Like in this, bodies are sent flying, super speed up the ass, and literally any single impact would result in a mini shockwave. It really sells the fact that these are gods clashing with one another. It's to the point you've got the entire third act being like nothing more than just destruction porn. It's generally like one of the most destructive shit I've ever seen in any superhero film. Not even superhero film, any type of like movie ever. Like, it's almost like disaster movie territory. It's ridiculous.
And it is glorious!
Just like untold levels of damage to civilian life, then I understand why people would 100% be against Superman. That's all I'm saying. So Batman, he has a point in the next film. Last but not least, the music.
Wow, they're really playing this bull?
Is the best to come from the DCU. That's my opinion. Controversial, I know. The other tracks that accompanies the slower moments, its action and keynotes to the more dramatic scenes, the whole thing just works. It just works.
All of this just works.
I don't got much more good stuff to say about this film, so on to the negatives, because the film definitely gave me some really mid vibes, you know? The pacing and structure is quite bad, as the film wants to be seen as this big origin story while being this big tentpole movie. What I mean by this is with how absolutely massive the stakes are. Like, I feel like it clashes a bit too much with the first half of the movie that aimed on having more of a more introspective look towards the character of Clark, by highlighting key moments from his life for him to take up the Superman moniker. Like, yeah, it has this problem where each of the flashbacks have literally no room to breathe, as the movie wants to like desperately focus on the second half when the Zod Simp army arrives and a whole lot of nonsense happens, which is like 70% of the movie. Speaking of which, besides the character of Zod, I find the movie fairly lifeless. Like, most of the characters are just broody and sad all of the time without much deviation from it. It's just weird. Then you got to the controversial ending with Soup snapping Zod's stupid neck. My thoughts on that is that it's a shit cop-out by the writers to add some complexity to the character, when he doesn't really have much throughout the film. First of all, Zod's never. That one's great. Second, the stupid family, who so happens to be in the station at that exact moment, decides it is not a good idea to move when Clark was holding Daddy Zod down. Like, nigga, move the fuck out of the way. You're just asking yourselves to die. I guess those parents are just doing this as a easy way of just going to the afterlife because of the bills. It's too much to afford in Metropolis.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not at all.
All this does is reinforce the notion that Clark isn't truly mentally right in the head, and that I can see how he can easily just turn into Injustice Superman by going for the absolute like nuclear option when push comes to shove. But despite the film's flaws, I still find it to be one of the more fascinating and rewatchable comic book movie of all time. And with that, I give the film like a solid 7 out of 10. Not bad, not
Going
terrible.
to stop being a goddamn cockblock for our chapter. Seriously, I swear to fucking God.
Batman's dark. I'm like, okay. No, Batman's cool. He gets to go to a Tibetan monastery and be trained by ninjas. Okay, I want to do that, but he doesn't like get raped in prison. That could happen in my movie.
Wouldn't let that shit happen to me, though.
You decided to allow Batman to kill within this picture.
You know, I tried to do it in that sort of technical way.
Can we please pour some more liquor?
Say hi to people in Jersey for me.
For his neutral special, he wields a gun.
And it includes...
Hi, I hate this. Hi, I hate this. Hi, I hate this from fucking Zack Snyder. Like, I cannot for the life of me believe how you can fumble having Superman and Batman going up against each other this badly. That's the WB way, baby. First, it was the decision of them speed rushing to a Batman v Superman film this early in their cinematic universe when Marvel took its time with their own solo films to reach to the Avengers film. Well, DC was like, give it to me! And it fumbled. Then there was the last trailer that spoils Doomsman and Wonder Lady for a 2-in-1 combo reveal that reeks of desperation.
I thought she was with you.
That is completely unneeded, and the film was backed by Turkish Airlines, so yeah, fuck this movie. And I guess there are some positives, like I can give props for the premise, being very cool with it being about the consequences of the Battle of Metropolis that happened in Man of Steel, and how the world reacted to the notion of a god being among men. The Batman warehouse scene, workouts, and intro of Bruce literally running in the face of danger, not gonna lie, that's kind of fire.
I like that.
And the music somehow managed to be more varied and bombastic than ever before, which is just bonkers. It's crazy good music that should have been used in a much better film. God bless this nigga for real, man. And the negatives. Where to start? The whole plot revolving the framing of Superman makes no sense considering the Lexus mercenary. They don't even factor in the bullet holes when they were torching up the terrorists. And how convenient it was for the authorities not to bother examining the corpses closer, because just a little further in, and Luthor Jr. over here, his plan wouldn't have fumbled. Speaking of Luthor, fucking, why the decision to make him so flamboyant and retarded? It just makes no sense, and it makes me wonder how the writers could ever consider him to be taken serious in any serious light. And it's proof why Hollywood writers do not deserve to get paid one fucking bit. The whole of Superman is a travesty, considering he's just more miserable and broody than anything he was in like Man of Steel, which is insane because from the ending of that film, they were hinting at the fact that he might become more like the one we all know and love from the comics.
$12 million piece of hardware.
It was.
This question. How do we know you won't one day act against America's interests?
I grew up in Kansas, General. About as American as it gets.
With him being very confident and having that playful swagger to him. Well, in this one, all we got are just scenes of him looking all sad all of the time, which just feels wrong, man. He talks like he's a villain all the time.
Hey, down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
I don't care. I don't.
The bat is dead. Consider this mercy.
Tell me. Do you bleed?
Which all that does is just makes Batman's fear of him feel more founded because the guy just feels needlessly nihilistic.
Fucking
Batman in this film, he's a complete retard, and that's because he's easily manipulated by an actual pinhead.
Who you calling pig?
the fuck?
In falling for the plot that Soups with his hot assistant in it. It only takes for the Martha scene to have him snap back to reality. Which, I don't know, man, like, that's gotta be, like, one of the most greatest fall-offs in cinematic history, considering he's meant to be the world's greatest detective, yet he cannot understand that he's being duped by an special needs kid.
At least partly have spoken.
Ben? I agree.
The whole thing fails horrifically with its forced inclusion of the Justice League. From that really weird and gay cock tease of the Justice League guys doing shit, okay, to the whole big unnecessary introduction of Gal Gadot's Wonder Lady, and she was whatever. Same with that Doomsday fellow. I don't know, like, what the fuck is he doing here? Being introduced so late into the film thinking that he means shit. And then having your franchise's main character die at just the exact second film of your entire movie franchise. It is fucking retarded. So yeah, the film sucked. You wanna know my name, then go and tell the Sarge! You wanna know my gang, Suicide Squad? I do not understand why this is like the third film of this franchise, because the Suicide Squad, before they were introduced to the public in 2016, they were kind of niche in the comic book world, so Warner Brothers choosing these guys is a bit... I mean, I guess I get the appeal of having characters like Joker or Harley Quinn being involved would bring in some attention. It could be like a very cool counter-culture way of introducing Batman's great nemesis and all that shit, but damn, it just feels weird to use these guys in a tempo film like this. But you know, the film could have worked because, you know, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, that was absolutely a phenomenal film. I guess Warner Brothers saw that and were like, hey, we can do our own. And they came up with shit. That's what it is. It came up with shit. It's fucking shit. Sorry. Like, all this film is like a victim of serial interference. Because before that, the film was meant to have a much more darker vibe, you know. That's what that David Ayer fellow said. But then Warner saw how successful Guardians was and we're like, okay, let's just have the trailer house people edit our film, re-edit the entire film from scratch. So we can literally bastardize this director's vision. And that's why we got this LSD weird looking mishmash against the really dark tone that the original was going for. So the film ends up looking like a visual mess. Like, the marketing's all colorful, but the film's just very drab and dark, and it's like, what the fuck does this film want to do? I have some problems with the film. One hand, it's the music. It's too much licensed music, way too many. I guess they're trying to be like Guardians, but what Guardians did that this stupid retarded film didn't do was that they used songs that were fitting for the character of Peter Quill, considering he's a guy who was adopted around the 80s, so his music is meant to represent his mother's legacy. So it makes sense, and not to mention the music they used are actually good. Oh, this film, they just used music from all different types of time periods, from that really annoying Vietnam War song to modern Eminem songs, which is like, what the fuck? Pick a tone. The tone in this film is like, bro, they're trying to go for this really gangster rap vibe, with the character designs being all ghetto, so you got a very ghetto looking Killer Croc and El Diablo. I mean, the guy literally says like he's some fucking gangbanger or something. I think he is, but still, it just ends up being really try hard. Even Captain Boomerang of all people looks all ghetto, and I'm like, that don't work. Harley Quinn, like, oh, everybody loves Harley Quinn in this movie, but then you see her design and the way the camera frames her, and it's like, it feels a bit in poor taste. Like, they literally turn her into a pip-up girl, which is a bit, it's a bit weird. But it helped give the film a very Hot Topic vibe with it, so I guess that worked. No, God! And speaking of Hot Topic, they made Joker into a Hot Topic character for some reason. Like, the guy now is meant to look all sexy and shit. He's played by an actual cult leader. Can't believe this idiot is gonna be in the new Tron film. Like, I love Tron, but this is not how you do it, Disney. Well, anyway, it's like, I don't like how he talks. Like, what do we have here? And it's a hunka and shit like that. And then he purrs like a fucking cheetah in one scene. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Then he has literally the gayest Joker laugh of all time.
The noise is grating.
And then the next problem is the characters, besides like maybe one or two characters, most of the characters, they're just insufferable. They're just annoying. You don't give a fuck about anyone. Like Rick Flag. I'm a soldier. The only reason you know him is not for his personality, it's for him phrasing that one infamous, "This is Katana, she's got my back," because her sword can trap the swords of its victims. And then Harley Quinn responds with, "Oh wow, what is that? A stench of death?" I'm like, I also have a problem with how the action just feels very stilted and weird. Like, it just, one moment you're just casually walking through the street, and then the next moment you just see a bunch of turds coming out of nowhere, just trying to fight them up, and it's like, what the fuck? These turds somehow know kung fu and shit. Some scenes, it's like, what? There's really no rhyme or reason. They just walk and turn the corner and bam, fight scene like it's some B-grade Power Rangers or something. But it's meant to be seen as cool, and the fight choreography is so bad because the whole film's so dark. You can barely see anything, so the whole film just feels so awkward to watch and all that. The film's resolution is really fucking stupid with how the main villain, the Temptress, she pretty much falls from the most obvious bait.
Sorry.
And then they just swipe her chest and take the heart, and then they have Ric Flair guy, whatever. He just squishes her heart and bam, that's it. Really, nigga? And also the biggest problem with this film is that they did not make use of the Suicide Squad gimmick at all. Like, motherfucker, only like one dude of their, no, two dudes from their main team literally dies in a team called the Suicide Squad. So it's like, what the fuck? I want to see more suicides. My suicide, what am I saying? But yeah, besides that, there are some positives, believe it or not. It'll be fascinating. The music, the original music, it fucking slaps. Deadshot, headshot, oh my god, am I crazy? It's touching you! Fucking hell, the soundtrack, it's so amazing that it pretty much just...
what I call a banger!
And then you got Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She is really good as Harley Quinn. I don't like her design, but her personality, that's why I imagine how Harley Quinn cell would be from the cartoons. She is really based. Will... Smith, he was really good as Deadshot. I mean,
I want to apologize.
His charisma is off the charts in the film. That's all I gotta say. He's pretty cool. El Diablo is actually surprisingly a really fucking cool character. I do like his backstory with him burning his family down. He feels guilt, so he becomes a pacifist. And yeah, I like that part where he says "Moco Cinco no," and then just goes ape on that one really bad looking CGI dude. And yeah, he's pretty cool. Captain Boomerangadong, he's really good. Like Jal Gordon, he's really good at playing really asshole-ish, like Australian dude, so the role was built for him.
Own that shit. Own it.
I understand that!
Man, besides that, I have no idea what I like about this. Oh, Amanda Waller! Fuck yes! Oh, Amanda Waller. The person who plays Amanda Waller, 10 out of 10 casting. She looks like her. She has the personality of her. She reminds me of my mom in all the worst ways possible, but hey, she's awesome. And yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. This film fucking sucks. It's a fucking 4 out of 10. Get the fuck out.
Here comes Slipknot, the man who can climb anything. Wonderful.
Have a good time.
I've stopped racism. Now I'm free to roam this earth.
And then you got Wonder Lady, and I must say it was not that bad of a movie, but it's not the best. It's fairly, frankly, kind of generic and forgettable, but it's a decent time, I guess. If I was to give my praises for it, definitely has to be like Gal Gadot's performance, like her fish out of water personality is pretty decent, I guess. And then you got Steve, the character of Steve, he's really great. The guy is insanely electrifying in his role. He is so great, he's so likable, he's such a bro. You can tell this guy could be an amazing adventurer. In fact, the guy appeared in like Dungeons and Dragons. It was a really, really surprisingly great film. I watched it like that, really crappy looking. Screen X, it was terrible watching there, but man, the film was a lot of fun. And Chris Pratt, he was... Oh, it's not Chris Pratt. Oh, I mean Chris Pine. Chris Pine, my bad. Like, he was really good. And then you got the action. The action was pretty decent. Like, actually, it's only like one good action scene. That was the scene with the trench, where she leads a group of very scared soldiers to battle. I just absolutely adored the way it made great use of its setting. And man, I do believe that there needs to be more superhero films that are set in like historical war settings. Really legit awesome shit. Like, I find the tone to be very decent. Like, it feels very consistent. It's not like a mess of like just pure edge of like Batman v Superman and just being confused like Suicide Squad. Like, this film feels very consistent. Like, it has a very hopeful vibe. That's how I describe this film. It can be described by one word, and that is hope. Which is very fitting for a superhero film, so good job, Jenny Jenkins, whatever, really good job. If I was to give some negative thoughts, I must say it's that Gal Gadot's acting. You can definitely tell she's not that good of an actress here because she sounds very flat and monotone. The only reason why she's good is because the script is actually pretty alright, but honestly, when watching this film again, I was like, man, Zemi Orr's her acting feeling pretty awkward and janky. And it's great to hear that her acting did not get any better after this film, so good job. And then the next problem is that the villains are just laughably evil, because you got that very over-the-top, like, Dr. Mask chick with the weird mask thing. She feels like she came out of a really pulpy World War I DC Comics novel. She looks really stupid. But then she got that her superior, who those guys feel like mustache twirling villains, like came straight out of a cartoon. Those guys are so over the top that I find that it kind of feels distracting from the rest of the film's tone, honestly. And then you got the big bad being Ares, which is kind of lame because I thought the film had been very interesting take on the superhero genre if the ending was just Diana stopping like a bunch of German troops of releasing a gas bomb. Essentially, that'll be the end of the film, pretty much like showcasing that Ares, he's not really a person like they were hinting. Ares is literally just the spirit of men doing the absolute worst against each other, because that's what Ares does. He pretty much just influences people through sheer thoughts. But I guess it's because they want to keep it true to the comics, because the comics he's pretty much like a war dude, so he has to be a war dude here. He has to be that really strangely nice and supportive like British dude that just feels like a lame cop-out, and the action was pretty bad, especially that one part where she's sliding down me like it felt so. The whole Amazonians part of the film was pretty boring, which is weird. You think a film exploring the island filled with very hot looking Amazon workers would really entice me, but instead I felt more interest when Diana stepped out into the real world, the World War world. That was more interesting. I wish the film had a bit more of that, because the Amazonians, the whole world building, whatever, is not that interesting. And seeing those women getting their asses whooped by a bunch of guys with guns is pretty funny to watch, considering, like, I'm pretty sure these women have super strength and durability, so it's pretty awkward seeing these guys get their asses whooped by a bunch of German dudes. It's like, okay. And those side characters that Diana and Steve hangs out with, they're not really notable. They're just pretty generic and whatever. So yeah, that's my views on Wonder Woman. It's kind of forgettable, not the worst, but it's much better than Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, and that's what DC needed at this time, because it became one of the highest grossing led superhero films of all time, and I'm happy that a film like this did well, because it's kind of weird how Marvel, they didn't bother doing a female-centric superhero film until like Captain fucking Marvel's instead of Black Widow, who literally is a core Avenger, which is beyond like in poor taste and beyond stupid. And also because Black Widow gave us that Abomination as Taskmaster, so why am I talking about Black Widow? I'm talking about Wonder Woman. Oh yeah. So yeah, I just gave it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent.
This is what I live for!
So after Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder immediately started with his work on Justice League, in which he was very close to completing, but then he had a personal tragedy that happened with his daughter, so he decided to pull out. So Warner Brothers, in a fit of panic, decided to quickly hire that Joss Whedon.
Wait, guys!
And what we ended up with was a really weird Frankenstein monster. A film with no vision at all.
There is no passion! There is no vision!
With so many additional cringy jokes on to appeal to the Marvel crowd or something.
Oh, something is definitely bleeding. Damn, bro. You got the whole squad laughing.
Complete utter jog shit nonsense, which I will not cover for this part of the video because it's not worth my time. It's a waste of time, because Zack Snyder eventually got his own version greenlit, because Warner Brothers, they had their own HBO Max platform that they need to advertise the shit up, so they released this Snyder Cuts for the sake of their own streaming platform. And yeah, what we got was a much more solid product, but I still really do not like the film overall, because it just felt like Zack Snyder's qualities just brought to the forefront, completely unaltered, which actually is kind of a good theme. But for me, let me just give some props to the film. Its way of strengthening the character of Batman, Cyborg, who actually is a huge highlight of the film. I actually unironically liked him the most. He had the most depth and character. Definitely felt the most down-to-earth and relatable of the group. Steppenwolf honestly looks boss in this film. I mean, it's probably the most over-designed look I've ever seen for like a villain henchman, but it's Zack Snyder. It fits his memo, and honestly, that's very fitting for a film like this. I mean, what more can you say about that Flash scene? You know, the part where he literally goes back in time, that's literally one of the most inspired time travel sequences I've ever seen put on film. Very creative, and it really does highlight the strengths of Zack Snyder being a very, very strong visual filmmaker. I really enjoyed the presence of Darkseid, even though he is kind of like just a glorified cameo of a film that will never happen, because this franchise is dead. Not impressed. Superman's, look, I just like the way he said the line, okay? So yeah, with those positives being out of the way, I gotta talk about the negatives. For one, I think the film is way too fucking long for its own good. 4 fucking hours for movies is absolutely absurd. Like, you don't need this long of a runtime to fulfill all of the quest lines or whatever the film needs, man. It's like, you can cut it down like an hour and it'll probably be fine. Because there's so many moments where it could just be cutted out, or scenes could be cut out or rearranged to make it more shorter, but they literally have so many moments where it just focuses on the most mundane shit. So much slow-mo, so much close-ups of shit, so much unnecessary whatever. The film just feels like a drag to me. I don't care. You can't forget about Wonder Woman's it's just very cringe, and like, why isn't he be there? Like, honestly, that's one thing I can give credit to the Justice League version, is that the use of her regular theme just makes more sense and it feels more fitting. It's not grating to the ears, because it actually has really good composition in comparison. I feel like the aspect ratio is a bit annoying and distracting throughout the film. People say it's not, but for me, it really does feel a bit pretentious. Ezra Miller's The Flash is absolutely a menace in this movie. He's so annoying and very unlikable in this film, which is, I mean, very consistent with the rest of the movies, but still. Arthur Fleck as the Aquaman, he's pretty whatever. He's not really that interesting in this film. He's kind of like in the background. And Wonder Lady's acting has not got any better in this film at all. She's still just as flat and lifeless as she's always been so far, which I guess is consistent, but I guess that's just her character is at this point. I don't know. Wasn't a fan of that really unnecessary Martian Manhunter cameo, because all that does is confirm that the guy was absolutely chill with Earth getting terraformed, died by the Kryptonians in Man of Steel, when he could have just, you know, get out there and help save the world. Stupid! Is it because he didn't want to get himself revealed or something to be an alien? But then it's like, who the fuck cares? Because, to quote a space Ravenger who was responding to a talking raccoon about why they should give a fuck about the universe, he responds with, because so him not giving a fuck about revealing himself to save the world is absolutely stupid, because him and everyone else knows he's gonna fucking die. So why not get your ass and do some shit? You dumb fuck. And last but not least, I fucking hate those future scenes, because holy shit, the film has several of them where it's just like scenes with Superman being all broody and being the pawn to dark side, whatever. You got a bunch of edgy shit, doesn't really lead to anywhere, because of course these films won't get any fucking sequels. And then you got that extremely unnecessary like ending scene where the film suddenly has a different look. It looks more like Army of the Dead was shot, with it being very out of focus and really fucking weird looking, like the cameraman literally got all drunk and shit. Where you got a random cast of misfits of Batman, Deathstroke, Amber Heard, and the one and only Jared Leto Joker, which is just, oh no. Like, the whole scene just encapsulates all the problems with fucking Zack Snyder, of all this unnecessary edge and angst, and it just feels like really weird wish fulfillment. You just got a scene like with, I guess, Amber Heard talking about how pissed, where you got a scene of Amber Heard just being all pissed off about, I guess, Arthur getting murdered by like Superman. She's like, let him come. Let the bastard come. With that really phony weird English accent or something. I don't know what the fuck the accent is. And then you just have Jared Leto coming in with the most weirdest fucking laugh, sounding like his best Santa Claus impersonation or something. Like, I don't know, Mr. J is doing all this shit because he wants to be the bigger man.
What the fuck?
It's like the guy literally is trying to do his best wrestler promo or something. Like, what the fuck was that line read? That's not even a negative, that's probably the positive, because holy shit. I'll forever quote that line. I'll forever quote that line, okay?
And when I killed you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you.
And then it ends with Superman landing in, looking all pissed off, I guess. I mean, what else is new? And then it just ends. And that's the end of Zack Snyder's reign in the DC universe, and I just find it funny how the last ever thing we see of Zack Snyder's universe is just a really edgy Superman, which is very fitting, because that's all this version of DC is, just complete edge. And yeah, the film's more like a 6 out of 10 to me. I didn't really enjoy the film. Since Warner Brothers managed to do a film based around Superman, Wonder Lady, and I guess technically speaking Batman, it's only fair to make another film based off one of their core members, Aquaman. And that's what they did with Aquaman. And I gotta say, it's legit a really fun movie. You can't deny that. I mean, it's not the best, but hey, it's fun. So let me just get started with the positives.
Break it down for me.
One positive is that James Wan's directing style is absolutely peak in this film. I just love his wide use of like fisheye lens and the way he frames shots and the creativity and like the really kinetic, energetic vibes the film has throughout every single action scene is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, this whole film probably has the best action on a very consistent basis. Because yeah, after seeing that opening fight scene, that was when I knew, holy shit, this film is fucking cooked. Like guys, for context, man, like I had no expectation for this film. I watched it in IMAX 3D and holy shit, that scene alone in IMAX was 100% worth the price of admission because fuck me.
I'm joking!
The fuck, stop playing!
The film literally never lets up after that moment. The film's just an absolute blast through and through. I mean, Arthur, he's fun. Jason Momoa was definitely born to play this character. He's really fun. I surprisingly liked Black Manta quite a lot. In fact, he's way more interesting than Ocean Master. Ocean Master. His design is so comic book accurate, it hurts. You think it looked ridiculous in live action? Instead, no, that suit goes unreasonably hard. Like, the guy's just glazing every single moment. Like, he's just having that really badass pose every single time. He walks like the Terminator. He shoots guys with his Omega beams, with his big fuck off eyes. Oh my god. He is so cool in this film. And his voice is so, it's awesome. That's all I got. And speaking of Ocean Master, like, the guy who plays him, he plays in a lot of James Wan films. He's in the Conjuring films, Watchmen, whatever. He's very good in the film. He really plays the role to his heart's content. Like, he's really good in the role. He hams the shit out of it. He doesn't do this whole problem of trying to be self-aware of his role. You know, like, he plays it 100% straight, which actually is a great trait from this film's writing. Because, you know, many films like this, like, for example, a film like Guardians 2 would literally have a scene where a villain talks about his name, and then you have characters pointing out, oh my god, your name is Taserface, and then they just run the fucking joke to the ground to the point it's not even funny anymore. It's like, yeah, we get it, his name's Taserface, who cares? I think it'd be funnier if he calls himself Taserface, but they do not, for once, try to bring up how ridiculous his name is. Like, Ocean Master is a really ridiculous name, but the film, not even one moment points out how ridiculous it is, so it actually unironically makes it both funny and badass at the same time, so they could have done the same thing, but that was Marvel at the time. Marvel still kind of does that, but I don't know. The pacing was pretty good for the most part, and the film's characterization of Atlantis was pretty damn cool. I really liked how this film actually embraced true honest-to-God color, because this is actually, technically speaking, the first DCU film to have a really wide and bright color palette, because yeah, Wonder Woman was actually kind of bright, but that was only for when they were in like dimmer stereo. But the rest of the film is pretty damn cold and dark, which fits because it's a World War I film. But then every other DCU film is just really dark and drab because Zack Snyder is allergic to colors. So this film, I like how comic booky it looked and how it really embraced it. Okay, for the negatives, can we talk about the cover of Africa?
I'm something that you gotta see.
And I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking? I mean, there's this running gag of almost every scene ending with an explosion. You know, Amber Heard was in this film. I guess the only reason why people liked her back then is because she was pretty, and yeah, after that whole Johnny Depp thing,
It's a piece of fucking shit!
Performance, I mean, even her performance is just not that interesting. It's just very boring. I mean, they're trying to do this thing where she's a fish out of water. Fish out of water.
How does anyone find that funny?
But then the next moment, they don't really focus on that because she's immediately back to Atlantis after being out of Atlantis for a while. It's not even a while, it's only for like around 20 plus minutes and she's back to Atlantis. So that whole fish out of water subplot, who cares? Because the film's pacing is a bit of a mixed bag. Like, on one hand, it wants to do some character building of Arthur, and next moment it's just, yeah, the flashbacks we had of him was pretty bad. The actor who played him was pretty terrible. I mean, he was just there because of his looks. That's it. They wasted William Dafoe. Like, how dare you? The guy's old. You shouldn't have used him more. He's a wonderful actor, and his presence in this film was pretty cool. And I don't know, man. Like, even though it was praising the action, I thought the final fight scene was a bit anticlimactic, with it just happening in front of like one of their submarine ships, whatever, and that's about it. I was like, wow, that's it. Like the battle before that with like the whole ocean wars thing with the
So here's this giant enemy crab
going against the big dolphin army and shit. Like, that shit was awesome. I kind of wish that Black Manta was a lot more involved, because I honestly find him more interesting than Ocean Master. So yeah, that's my thought on the film. I actually kind of enjoyed it, and I give it kind of a 7.5 out of 10.
Only two. So go do that.
I said, no, tell him what you said.
And I lied.
That you punched me in the
You're right.
fucking thing.
You figured it out.
And I watched you lie. And then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. I was not punching you.
Pause the camera right there. Rewind the video.
Hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you.
This nigga is crazy.
Soon after Aquaman came Shazam, and all I gotta say about the film is that's legit a really strong film. I can't even say it's bad or just say it's mad. It's actually a legit good film, through and through. Legit probably like my top 4 in DCU, if that makes any sense. And for that reason why I like it, it definitely has to start with Zachary Levi. He was really great as adult Shazam, and the kid playing, kid Shazam, he was good. They're both really good. Like in this film, especially with Zach, like the guy is actually very consistent with his young self. People were complaining about how he's a bit too out of place or a bit too different, but honestly when watching the film, he actually feels fairly consistent with how the young Billy back in the film, like it honestly makes sense because he literally sits down in his luck kid, given the powers of a literal god, so it makes sense why he feels a lot more into himself and really up his own ass in a fun type of way, not in an asshole-ish way, but in a really fun and daring way. And the film, as a result, makes great use of the whole gimmick of a 15-year-old kid suddenly having all these powers by having some really fun set pieces, like scenes of him just goofing around on social media, stopping like petty crimes and all that stuff, and him just absolutely fucking up because he doesn't know how to use his powers and makes kind of fool himself, but in a really endearing way, of course. It really has a cool like wish fulfillment vibe throughout. The whole family motif the film is going for is actually really endearing, and it's one of the reasons why this film has so much heart. It definitely has to be with the foster home part of the film, and it's one of those films where it portrays foster home care in a very positive light, so it isn't really villainized or demonized or made to be like this freak show. It just feels very genuine. Everyone's just very likable and supportive, which gives again a lot of heart to the film. The humor of the film is really good, legit one of the funniest DCU films without breaking a sweat. I really do love how the film has a bit of a horror motif with the villain, especially, which isn't surprising considering the director himself came from a horror background, so the film does make a great showcase as to like why horror directors work really well on superhero films, because their mix of like horror and lighthearted comedy and action just feels very sublime and really fitting for the genre as a whole. In fact, I'm gonna sub to the director of this film to this very day because the guy makes a really interesting insights to the creation process of Hollywood movies, and all I got from him is that he just feels like a very genuine good dude. So yeah, good on this film for helping me discover the director's work. And by far this film has the best transformation sequence in the whole entire DCU with the whole
Shazam?
Where, holy shit, every time he says Shazam, it's like a mini spectacle. Like, I don't know, I just think the whole appeal of having the guy's powers being summoned by just a single word feels really badass, and the film makes great use of it in like some of its more dramatic scenes, especially that scene where after he's revealed how much of a piece of shit his mother is, he just musters up the courage to go and save his family, his actual real family, and while doing that, he yeets himself off a building and then just says Shazam. It's like, man, the whole scene just absolute cinema. If there was any flaws about the film, it definitely has to be with the villain. Like Mark Strong, who plays him, he's an amazing actor. I love him in every film he's in, but yeah, in this film, he doesn't really have much to work off, even though he does have interesting parallel to Billy Batson still. The action ended up feeling fairly flat and lifeless. It could have been a bit better, but honestly, compared to what happens in the sequel, the action is like leagues above it in every sense of the word, which is kind of sad. And about the foster family, I wish they had a bit more scenes with them, but I guess that would have added a bit too much to the runtime as well, so yeah, I guess I understand why they excluded it. And the end credits scene with Superman just weirdly walking into the room. It's a bit awkward in hindsight because you know what's happening with the DC universe at the moment. But the scene is kind of funny considering I had a bit more of a reaction to this than I did with Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel's relationship, which are eerily similar in hindsight. But it's funny considering this is literally just like what, a 5-second cameo, while the whole Marvel thing is a lot longer. It literally lasts the entire movie. I did not feel anything with those two. Really shows how shit Marvel with their writing nowadays. But yeah. Anyway, the film's like an 8 out of 10 to me. Pretty solid film. Good job, DC. It's probably one of their best out there. Oh yeah, and also it's a pretty good Christmas movie, so yeah, there's that. Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is definitely a movie of all time. That's how I'll describe it. The film wasn't bad, but also wasn't quite great either. To start with the positives, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was pretty cool. I really love Black Mass in this film. I love how deranged and fabulously gay he was in a really fun way. The action was quite well choreographed and really impactful because that R rating helped add a bit more punch to it.
Yeah. I'm joking. Stop the brake, stop!
I quite digged that opening sequence cartoon. It was pretty fun and imaginative, but in hindsight feels like a prelude to the shit that we'll get from Joker Flow Redo, but we don't talk about that shit. And the music, just like it was in Suicide Squad, it's a certified banger. I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I can shine like gloss. I got places to burn, places to burn. Can't pronounce. Experiment on me! Experiment on me! Okay, let's talk about the negatives. One negative definitely has to be the supporting cast. They just exist. Like the Birds of Prey in this Birds of Prey film, they're barely even a team. They only form up like in the final parts. I mean, like, yeah, other team up films do that. But the problem with this film is that majority of the film, they're not even interacting with each other as a group. They're all in their own separate things, so by the time it's the end point of the film, it's just, the film's already over. And they only have like one action scene. And the final moment, Black's mask, whatever. Oh yeah, it's only Harley Quinzel who fights him off. Like, aren't they like a team or something? Shouldn't they like all fight them off? I get it, because after Black Canary does her cringe Karen scream, they all dissipate, but then it's like, bro, I thought there'd be more team involvement. And then you got like that character Cassandra Cain, like what the fuck is she? I don't even know why she's in this film. She just feels like a waste, and she doesn't even feel like Cassandra Cain from the comics or anything. It's just some random chick who so happens to have the name Cassandra Cain, so it's weird to just use an established character with so much history and just put their name to some random character. Why not just call her Asian fat bitch? I'm a boss. And then the film has like Azel, like that serial killer guy. He's just there, I guess. He barely does anything. He dies very quickly. I don't know. The humor just isn't really that great, honestly. I don't know, man. It just feels... feels like it's trying way too hard to be like Deadpool and kind of fails most of the time. And speaking of which, there's this Marlon McRow scene. I mean, it looks really cool. The trailers used it quite a lot. It's barely even a scene in the film.
What? What does that mean?
Last but not least, but the rating for this film quite isn't really needed. It's a very light R-rated. I guess the most graphic scene was the part where Black Mask performs a mask off towards, which is actually kind of creepy and gross. And then the last part where he just kamikazes like a bitch. It's like, bro, besides that, the film doesn't really need all the swearing and hard violence, but yeah, the film's kind of a waste of time. That's how I'll describe it. It's not really worth remembering unless you're a huge fan of Harley Quinn, because if you love the Birds of Prey, they adapt them like shit, and I don't think Harley Quinn's even considered to be a member at all from the original run or even most comics. So yeah, putting her here is just a case of popularity bias, not because they want to adapt the source material with respect. So with that, this film gets a 6 out of 10. Not bad, not great. Oh boy, Wonder Woman 1984. What the fuck were they thinking this bullshit? This fucking movie. What is there that's good about this film? Chris Pine, he's great as usual. Shit. Crap. What is there good about this movie? What else besides Chris Pine? Oh yeah, Pedro Pascal playing as himself. Shit. I mean, like, some of the visuals are pretty good. I think the film has a good color palette, sort of, half the time. I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing. Can we like address the biggest problem in this film?
When we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now,
definitely has to be with that whole creepy notation of the fact that Gal Gadot for some reason forces the body of some random dude to participate her in all this dangerous shit. Because guess what? Chris Pine in this film is not Chris Pine. He's actually some other guy who probably has a life outside of this, and she just forces him because she has this selfish desire of wanting just to be with him. So she pretty much has forced sex on him against his will, and the film just treats it as fucking romantic. I mean, like, I guess it's okay if a hot Amazonian chick can do it, but if it's a guy doing the same thing to a woman, even if the guy's attractive, people say, you know, that's pretty sus. That happens in all types of media. That's something I'm so fed up about. Like I'm fed up with how male sexual assault is treated like almost like a punchline, or just seen as like something people just shrug their shoulders on. Like, I see that shit in so many films, so much media. I read so much manga and anime where they have scenes of the male pretty much just being like used or abused all the time by the females all the time. And seems fucking cute and charming. But if a guy was to do the same fucking thing to the woman,
Then everyone loses their mind.
it happens all across the world. That shit is seen as like, it's fine if a male gets abused by a woman. Because if it's a guy with a woman, that's too much. I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. I do not have time for all this double standard bullshit and everything. It just pisses me the fuck off, and this film reminds it to me by just bashing that shit towards my head nonstop. It fucking makes me want to break something. That fucking cheetah chick, she's barely even a factor in this fucking movie. Like, she's one of Wonder Lady's most iconic villainesses, and she's barely there. She's there to fill the really cringy-ass, stupid Hollywood trope of the nerdy chick, removes her glasses, has some makeup, bam, she's a hottie. I'm like, what the fuck? And the film's meant to take this shit serious or something. It's what? Apparently she gets his confidence, goes to that fucking wish box, whatever. It's like, what the fuck? Just put on some makeup, you dumb whore, and you'll be fine. Guys will start hitting on you, because that's just how men are portraying this film. Has a bunch of annoying sex pests. In fact, there's even one scene where that guy literally hits on her, which every fucking Hollywood film does all the time, where some random guy hits on a woman. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Like, I get it. It happens in real life, but that does not excuse how fucking overused it is in media all across, man. I'm tired of reading this shit and all these books and movies and TV shows and everything. Just give it a break.
Give us all a break.
And Gal Gadot's acting in this film somehow manages to be even fucking worse than even her like previous 3 appearances or something. It's like, how is this possible? And the key highlights moment of that scene, people always talk about that one scene in the car, but no, I want to talk about that one scene where this dumbass decides to break the fourth wall, look directly at the camera and talk about, imagine a world with no people. Imagine a world with no peace. And then everybody just snaps out of how fucking cringe her acting is, and then they're like, yay, she's like, yay, the world is saved. I'm such a good, morally righteous woman, even though I forcefully sexually abused the dude for my own will. I'm good because I acknowledged I need to let the guy go. Which is just fucking wrong, because I'm pretty sure Diana, in every single other interpretation, is one of the most morally righteous people in the planet, for fuck's sake. Like, in what universe would she want to, like, what? Take control of a guy against his will just to fulfill her own negative fantasies? I guess the only one I know is that shitty Injustice continuation where for some reason they made her into an absolute cunt. Which I don't get it. Why did they make Wonder Woman so fucking evil? And for some reason, Harley fucking Quinzel, the one who assisted the Joker in nuking millions of people, is treated like a fucking queen, Quitana or some shit. Everyone likes her, even Batman likes her. What? What the fuck? Bro! Like, every time I play Injustice 2, I can't stand seeing Harley Quinn being put on a fucking pedestal.
Wonder Bread. This isn't your business, clown. You heard bats. No killing. You lecture me. How much blood is on your ledger, Quinn?
Oh, bucket's full, honey. I was trying too hard to impress the wrong guy. Kinda like you with Superman.
Get out! Read the comments. She's on the pedestal. Why the fuck is Harley Quinn everywhere nowadays? There are much better female characters to focus on. Yeah, it's Harley fucking Quinzel. And she was fucking in that Joker fully do film. Why is she in everything? DC, you gotta wake the fuck up. And I'm like, wait, I'm literally talking about Wonder Lady. 1984, here I am bitching about Harley Quinn. Oh, fuck. Shows how bad this film is. I literally do not want to talk about it. Oh my god. I mean, if I was to say anything more bad about the film, the pacing was fucking shit compared to the original. The action fucking sucked. The CG kind of got a bit more goofier. Like, look at Cheetah's skin. It just looks disgusting. Besides that, yeah, the film legit one of the worst comic book films of all time. Film's a 3 out of fucking 10. The film go fucking burn in hell. Oh yeah, I forgot to add, like, one good thing I like about the film is that they actually have the original Wonder Woman.
Bird.
So after Let There Be Shit, we got legit the best DCU film, The Suicide Squad. Because James Gunn was given free reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted in this film, and oh my god, it is legit such an amazing film. It's such a great palate cleanser for the absolute turd that was Wonder Woman 1984. In every sense of the word. For one, the humor, top notch. The pacing, top notch. The characters, fuck yes! Here's the secret I want to tell you guys. I fucking love what they did with Polka Dot Man. Like, he's my favorite character in the film. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I find him the most relatable, the most, like, down-to-earth dude, man. Like, he's the underdog. He's the one who people make fun of because he's literally a Polka Dot Man. But then you see his backstory, then you see how fucked up, like, generally disturbing the imagery is with vomiting up all the polka dots and shit because of what his shitty-ass mother did to him. Oh my god, you just root for this guy. You just root for a guy who shoots polka dots, and you see how badass his powers is with the way the polka dots blast. You see people's limbs burn, their mouths, buildings get destroyed, even Starro's own fucking leg gets like what, chewed off like crazy. I just love how James Gunn managed to make such an absurd character, make him legit such a likable and actually kind of a badass dude.
I'm a superhero! I'm a motherfucking
Speaking of badass, the action, I fucking love the action. Oh man, every single action scene in this film is a masterpiece. Especially that one, the part of the thunder, rain and shit, the lighting, all white. You see all the guys walking out, that mist and shit, slowly walking with that badass song playing. It's just complete silence. How you're just hearing these guys just absolutely demolish these idiot soldiers. Oh fuck! And then the part where King Shark just rips those guy one to apart. That's what I'm talking about. And the R rating, they made fucking great use of it. Way more than Birds of Prey. Like, the violence is so absurdly over the top. It's fucking carnage, and then you got the swearing and the jokes, the adult humor, and lands. You get to see like a dude's dick in one scene. It's fucking glorious. The main characters who, like Amanda Waller, Harley Quinn, Ric Flair, and Boomerang, and he managed to make them so damn much better in every sense of the word. I think the biggest flare-up definitely has to be Rick Flag. And originally, he absolutely hates every single person. You could just tell that guy did not like anyone. He did not want to be there except for his queen, which is the Enchantress. Are you gonna kiss me or not? Oh, nigga, you gay! But in this film, you can tell that the guy generally does care about these guys. Like, the guy's so charismatic and likable that the scene where he eventually gets betrayed and killed by the Peacemaker is pretty damn tragic. Way more tragic than any other scene I've seen the previous film. And speaking of Peacemaker, oh my god, John Cena, he is absolutely phenomenal as Peacemaker. Legit. It's no wonder why the guy's probably wants to stop doing his wrestling career, because he wants to focus a lot more on his DC crafts as the Peacemaker. Because man, Peacemaker in this film, he has a baller design, he has a baller personality. The guy's absolutely hilarious, and he's legit badass as hell. I mean, the guy's kind of an idiot, but he's also pretty damn smart in the same way, so he makes him kind of intimidating, while also being kind of a goofball. Like, damn, that's what I love about it. Like, James Gunn just knows how to balance tone so well. I also love characters like Ratcatcher. She's awesome, she's cute. Her whole story with her father is pretty damn endearing. I just wish that she managed to wear her mask a lot more, because I think there's only like one scene where she had her mask on and then immediately removes it, which is like, come on, man. You cannot talk about this film without King Shark. He's this film's group, but yeah, he's pretty damn funny in every sense of the word. And then you got Bloodsport, he's fucking awesome. Idris Elba playing the shit out of that role, he is so cool. He legit has the most badass like gun transformation scene in cinematic history. The way the camera focuses on all the like singular parts of his mechanisms of the gun and shit, just transforming to it, just having that fast payoff of him just shooting the shit out of Starro the Conqueror. Damn, it's absolute cinema. And speaking of that, they managed to make Starro the Conqueror both terrifying and just rightfully cheesy in all the best ways possible, which makes sense because this is the guy who directed Slither and all that shit, so that's a bit of body horror with the way this thing is just taking over people's faces by just throwing all these damn starfishes at their faces. It both looks funny and also kind of scary in the same way, so it's like, bro, they really did allow this nigga to cook in this movie. And if I was to say anything bad about this film, honestly, I wish there's just more of it, man. I mean, the pacing is perfect, but I'm like, bro, I just want more of this shit. I just love this version of the Suicide Squad in every sense of the word. It's so great. Like, they made great use of the whole Suicide Squad angle. Especially how that beginning opening scene at the beach where all of them just get fucking slaughtered. You get to see that idiot comedian guy who had face blown off. James Gunn understood what he's talking about. Speaking of which, in that scene, I wasn't a fan of how they killed out Captain Boomerang there. I was really hoping to God what James Gunn would do with him. I mean, I get it. It's to fulfill the whole notion of like how anyone can be disposable at any single moments, but then I'm like, I don't know, like Harley Quinn literally was standing out in the open for who knows how fucking long, and she does not get shot in the face. In fact, a lot of the guys literally stand out in the open, they don't get shot in the face. That's one of my problems with this film. The plot armor is pretty dick for a certain amount of characters. It's pretty distracting. I was to say one thing that the previous Suicide Squad does better in this film is definitely the soundtrack. The soundtrack in that film is way more interesting. The only song I noticed was that one song from Grandson that was playing in the background, but besides that, I don't think it's any song that really reaches to the heights of Purple Lamborghini and Hedon's, for example, but yeah. And I guess the militia guys, they're pretty forgettable. Damn.
What a shame.
But besides that, this film is honestly got one of the best comic book movies of all time. Every sense of the word. Ah, fuck yes. So I give this film a straight up 9 out of 10. It's amazing. You guys gotta watch it. I know a lot of people haven't watched it because it failed in the box office, but thank God DC's giving him the reins to the universe, because after this film, you can tell this guy understands comic books better than anyone else. Can we give the show a cat out of 10, please? Alright? Okay, section done.
Hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studio.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
Black Adam, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. To James Gunn, nigga! Yeah, this film is pretty boring, whatever. Let's get on the positives. I guess some of the action set pieces were pretty alright. I mean, the only scene I actually kind of liked the most was definitely the beginning where Black Adam fucks up those soldiers. I love how violent it was with them turning to skeletons. Some Mortal Kombat shit without being Mortal Kombat. Dr. Fate was absolutely amazing. Really pinpoint accurate casting right there. I really liked his design, even though his CG is pretty damn awful. But that's like really with most of the film, so I don't know. The film birthed us with that really amazing pic of The Rock flying all stoically and shit. Like it's trying to emulate a comic book panel, but ends up looking really goofy, so yeah, I'm actually glad that scene was there, because it makes me laugh every time I see it. The film's pacing was alright, and didn't really waste time in a lot of parts, and all that. It was pretty cool. Black Adam's theme goes a bit hard, I guess. And yeah, okay, so negatives. Honestly, I think The Rock playing as Black Adam is pretty boring. All he is in the whole film is just him being very stoic, and his attempts on trying to be comedic is kind of sad and cringe. Or at least not him, it's just the film's attempt at humor is pretty cringe. And the way The Rock was so ignorant on not trying to tie this film in with Shazam rather with Superman of all people makes no sense. It really just shows how much of an egomaniac The Rock really is, and how much he does not really care about comic books as a whole. He just wants to do it as a vehicle for his own fragile ego, whatever. So I ended up being pretty, really felt like a really dumb fan fiction-esque ending that was just approved by his studio because they didn't want to piss off their main actors. So I think it'd be more interesting if it had a connection with Shazam, because that's how he's always been. In that, they're pretty much like sworn nemesis. And also makes even less sense considering he literally has the same powers as Shazam, so why is there like no connection to Shazam at all? It just feels really weird and like disconnected. I thought the whole rest of Justice League, whatever, those guys, they're pretty whatever. They did not need to be in this movie. Instead, they just added a whole bunch of fluff and nonsense, and then the film's trying to jam-pack their whole history and stories with one another, end up just making the film feel so jumbled and messy. Like those two kid characters, like Adam Smasher, which is a really amazing name by the way, and that Cyclone chick, not that amazing. Especially Hawkman, the guy is such a petty asshole, who I guess is meant to be like a metaphor for American imperialism, which the film unsubtly points out in one scene. The main villain, he is so bad, especially his voicing. You will not win, you can't stop this. And that really try hard, like he's trying to sound intimidating while also sounding kind of whiny in a weird way. It's like, bro, it's hard to describe. He just sounds super off in this film, and he looks.
Be decided by a true battle of champions.
His design is very true to the comics, which I give plus about. The film definitely also has a look of a film that came out in 2011. Like it felt like a throwback to like those Clash of the Titans, Cowboys vs. Aliens, John Carter, Super 8, even fucking Green Lantern. Is like, bro, this film looks so dated. That kind of ruins it in my opinion. 100% I hated how this film wasted Dr. Fate by the ending. He died like a bitch, which is a waste of a character like him, which is sad, but hey, since we got a rebooted franchise, we might see more Dr. Fate, so that's a win from my book. But in this film's book, not really. So yeah, honestly, I don't really have much to say about this film, because frankly, the film is so forgettable that I just don't even know what really to say besides the whole Rock thing. So yeah, the film is like a 6 out of 10, fairly forgettable. I don't really got much to see. because this film, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, it sucks. So I'm just going to say the positives. I thought the foster kids were fun to watch on screen. The dragon looked really, really cool. I like the dragon. Lucy Liu still looks pretty, somehow. I mean, the shot of Shazam transforming is pretty fucking hilarious. I mean, what's up with his fucking face? It's like he's trying to hold a big ass shit. Why? And yeah, negatives, yeah, this film is pretty fucking boring. It feels like a whole lot of nothing happens. They gave us that really cursed shot of the wizard cross-dressing as Wonder Lady, and it's like, what the fuck were they thinking? Somebody must have got turned on from that shit. The film gave us Rachel Zegel playing as this one long-age goddess, whatever. She has a really weird relationship with a kid, essentially. So, it comes across as very creepy and gross, yet the film's like, it's so romantic! Aww! But it's like, not really, it's just kind of sus. Chris Hansen, the action absolutely fucking sucks. They somehow managed to make it worse than the original, which is an accomplishment, because the original had some pretty action. The film had that really weirdly dark scene of one of the main characters' homeroom teachers just getting yeeted off a roof, and it's like...
No.
This is definitely the film where you can definitely tell the disparities of Zachary Levi and Billy Baxton just being very, very jarring, because throughout the film, Billy Baxton, like, he's trying to match the tone of Zachary Levi, but it just ends up feeling pretty weird and awkward. And Zachary Levi almost feels a lot more like a parody of his original self from the original Shazam. It feels a lot more like annoying, like trying way too hard to be funny and charming, while the original, he really did feel a lot more charming, what I'm trying to say. Maybe it's because of all the behind the scenes drama that's making him just literally lose some shit, because if you see him right now, oh boy.
With the crayon, anything is possible.
No.
What the fuck happened to that guy? The villains, they both suck, they're forgettable, I don't even know what the fuck their whole plan is. This woman's facial surgery, what happened? The whole Skittles thing, absolutely is dreadful writing. I don't know why it decided to push that gag for as far as it did.
It's the rainbow, motherfucker!
We did 20 takes, and that was the best one.
But yeah, the film's biggest crime is definitely the fact that it's just a really boring movie, and I don't remember much what even happened because it's so forgettable. So for that reason, it's yet another 6 out of 10.
Spark of a god can restore its power.
There is one.
Fuck.
With this being DCU / Raw of actually making a good movie, I gotta say it's a pretty decent watch. For one, the characters are actually very likable. I love the whole family angle. Like the character of Ramis, he's very, very relatable, likable dude, so much charisma. I haven't watched him Cobra Kai, but I do know for a fact that this guy, he has the leading man charm through and through. Like my only reference to the character prior to this film was with Batman the Brave and the Bold, which I grew up watching as a kid. I always thought that his suit looked cool, and I was pretty impressed to see how this suit pretty much looked very, very practical and true to how he looked in the comics. And the action was surprisingly decent in this movie. It had a good amount of style, especially that one underground scene where he's like, "Let's go!" and then just fucking clobbers the shit out of those soldiers and shit, with the way the camera just swerves with every single punch and impact. Gave it a pretty damn cool vibe. Gangster, I might say, especially with the rap song in the background. Oh man, that seems really great. And I do absolutely love how the film had that really cool looking anime shot of him just holding that big ass sword. It was so fun. I just wish they used the sword a lot more. The film's pacing is pretty damn good. I really like the atmosphere and look of the city they were having. The film's pretty damn good looking for being made on a budget. I mean, especially compared to other ones. Generally has a lot of hearts and it's pretty funny. And I do admit that one transformation scene, I just love how absolutely horrific it is. For no reason, they just made the most hardcore traumatic shit ever, and it's absolutely amazing. Now I gotta talk about the negatives. My biggest problem with the film definitely has to be with the villains, especially the fact that they're trying to do this weird thing where they try to forgive the main henchman bad guy for all the really shitty evil shit he did throughout the film and throughout, because oh my god, he's been lied to by this evil white bitch. Because this film has this deal of saying like, oh okay, I guess all colored people, they're not really the bad guys, while the white people, oh yes, stop them at all costs. Of course, the predominant white person in the film is the big baddie in this film, comprised of minority people. Who would have thought? And she was really terrible. She literally had no intimidating factor with her. She pretty much was just like a Karen, like a nanny Karen or something, always sounding like she's threatening you on getting fired or something, or she's going to report you to your dad or some shit. Like, she's just really annoying and unintimidating. And the love interest, I was surprised about Ramis's love interest. Like, I thought she was just going to be like a kind of sister, older sister type of character towards him, but I was surprised to see that those guys actually start kissing. I was like, whoa, those guys did not have the chemistry of people who really do legit want to like fuck with each other. Like, I know they're both really attractive people, but it felt like It wouldn't have felt more genuine if she just became a bit more like a sister character. That'd be really cool. I thought the action end with him fighting that big red Transformer guy. The CG became a bit more It felt a bit more janky for my liking. I didn't really like it that much. But besides all of this, I thought the film was pretty solid. Like, I wouldn't consider the film to be very rewatchable, but every time I do watch it, I do have a fun time with it, and that's all what we need at the end of the day with all these popcorn flicks, right? So for that reason, film's a 7.5 out of me. Decent film, and I'm very, very happy to hear that this guy is coming back to the DC Studios universe, because he's such a really, really, really cool character. And the actor playing him, he deserves a second shot of the character. It's like, thank God James Gunn knows this shit. Same with Peacemaker. Those two are coming back, and I'm happy. So like, yeah. Let's go, Raymond's.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Pushing on through until the battle's won. No one's gonna give nothing to us. Into each other we put our best.
Yeah, all I gotta say about this film is that it's definitely a really strange movie. That's how I'll describe it. It's very strange. From its directing style, to the casting choices, to the decisions of its time travel, whatever, everything about it, it's just so out there that I kind of enjoy it, I kind of dig it. Which I know is controversial because people on the internet absolutely hate this film, but I don't, and I'll explain why. Because one of my positives for the film definitely has to be Michael Keaton's Batman. Yeah, of course everybody agrees is the best part, but you can't deny it, man. Like, Michael Keaton, he was amazing. He did not skip a beat at all when performing his character. I just love all the little nuances they had with adapting what is essentially a 80s version of his character into a modern film, and they somehow managed to just translate it super well, from all the little touches and the way he moves. Like, whenever he does look up or look down, he literally moves his entire body. When he needs to go and measure to propel people out of a fucking station, he uses a ruler tape, which managed to be both funny and badass at the same exact time. Just the whole way that he's pretty much a product of his time. Like, I never knew I ever wanted a scene of seeing Tim Burton's Batman go against that one brute from Man of Steel. Yet it's here and it manages to be awesome. The action's really quite good in my opinion. I mean, I kind of like the way Andy films The Flash's super speed. The film has some really fun stuff that I don't really see in a lot of superhero films, or it's just done in a way that's very like fan servicey and the homage to the source material. I love the intro, where I thought the intro was pretty cute. I love how Andy brought his signature rareness to the film, because if you watch any of those It films, those films are super, super strange, especially the second one. That film, okay, I really love the creative use of the camera. It had a lot of energy and style to it. It's a very stylistic looking film. It had a lot of flashy elements to it that made it feel very fitting for a film based around the Flash. And that scene where Barry has to give up on his mother is super, super heartbreaking. Like, I still tear up whenever I see that scene. So well acted. And ever since the word, I absolutely love that scene. It really shows how the film has a lot of heart in it. Alright, my negatives to the film definitely has to start with Ezra Miller as the Flash, or Flashes, because this film has two Flashes for some reason. And my problem with him is that if you see how, I can't say he, because he is not he is they, how they in real life are just essentially like complete psychopaths in every sense of the word, it makes their performance in this film feel very icky and weird. Ugh. I mean, I get there's a second Barry to show how annoying Ezra Miller really was in like the previous films he appeared in, but still their performance end up being very dry and flat, with some wonderful lines such as, "If we don't stop them, there won't be a future." And I'm like, oh god, sound like they don't want to be here at all. Especially when you compare them to like Michael Keaton, the fuck, who seems super devoted. Speaking of other characters, you got Supergirl, and yeah, she exists. That's how I describe her. I mean, like, the casting is pretty alright. She definitely looks like someone who can break my neck. Hell yes. But she just exists to just be very broody and sad, which is very similar to Zack Snyder's Superman, so end up rubbing me the wrong way. But I guess it makes sense because she was prisonated by a bunch of evil, pissed off Russians for who knows how fucking long in that really weird body horror scene. Because, you know, the director of It wants to put some body horror into a film like this, which I have no problems with. I like it when I see superhero films embrace the horror elements. It's fun. Horror is fun. That's how I gotta see. The whole evil Flash being revealed to be The annoying young one, I don't know. It felt kind of like whatever, rushed. I mean, it made the film a bit more darker, seeing all these scenes of Flash getting completely fucked up by General Zod. Oh my god, I forgot about General Zod. He is dreadful. Look how they massacred my boy in this movie. In the original film, he has so much raw energy in every single scene.
I will find him. I will find him! That is what you have taken from me. Your sacrifice that will allow Krypton to live in the infant didn't
fucking wait, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way.
And this one's like, what the fuck? Like, it's almost like AI generated. It feels very uncanny and weird, like the way he's just talking so robotically and lifeless. Like, it feels kind of, ugh. I don't know what the fuck happened, man. It's like Michael Shannon didn't want to be there. And yeah, the elephant in the room, the CGI, yeah, it's dreadful. I watched this film in like Ultra HD on my Sky subscription, and holy shit, the film, the CGI, it's nightmare fuel. I cannot believe they improved shit, especially that part where the guy's tooth literally flies off. It's literally one of the worst looking special effects I've seen in cinematic history. And that scene alone pretty much just describes the entirety of the DCU. It's just a complete, it just fumbled apart. And also the way they show Michael Keaton's Batman getting killed over and over felt weirdly tone deaf. Just felt wrong. I know that sounds like my bias because I love Michael Keaton. I don't want to see him in any sense of danger like this, but still, it just feels very off. Like you brought back this legacy character just to kill him off over and over to a bunch of Zack Snyder OCs. Is like, what the fuck? That just feels wrong, man. And yeah, that opening scene with Batman and Wonder Lady, it was really bad. I mean, Batman pretty much be humiliated again. That just feels wrong. And Gal Gadot just being like, bro, she's just there standing menacingly, I guess. It's just there for her paycheck. Why are they even in this film? They don't need to be there. Because it's not the whole joke that the Flash is just pretty much a janitor, which is weird. He's certainly out of all the members, he's pretty much the most powerful. Like out of the three at the moment, he's pretty much the most powerful. So it just feels really wrong and stupid. So we can get more scenes of Ezra Miller sounding like a complete Karen, I guess. I don't know, man. This film is so weird. Anyway, this film's like a 7 out of 10. It's a fun ride.
Think you want to fight? Whoa, bro.
Alas, we end this entire cinematic universe with Ocean Master, also known as Patrick Wilson, eating a cricket sandwich. And he ended up enjoying it. And then immediately cuts to black. And that was just before a scene where Aquaman just casually says, "Oh yeah, I'm revealed, guys." Does his trademark, yeah! And then just quickly walks away while the film immediately just cuts to black, because you could definitely tell James Wan and everyone else does not want to be here. Yeah, this film literally was announced when the DC Studios was literally announced to the public, so it had this sense of being like it was just released for the sake of just having it out, because Warner Bros. Need to make some money. They already filmed it before DC Studios problem, so yeah, the film just felt like it didn't need to be made, and that's how it felt like when watching the film. The film felt so... ugh. Anyway, if I was to have any positive thoughts, I like the way how Black Manta was pretty much the main antagonist until the very end, which was very fucking stupid. Okay, positive thoughts. He was fun, like he literally acted very black.
Why first you steal your brother's throne, then you steal his woman? Aquaman, shame on you.
I can be cooking.
Oh shit!
I mean, Patrick Wilson was the only guy who seemed to give a shit besides like again, Black Manta. He was cool, he was funny. He actually had a lot more charisma than Jason Momoa in this film, which is strange, I don't know. And I mean, like that one final scene of Aquaman during that with Black Manta was kind of fun. Even though the CGI was really terrible, it felt like I was watching a really cheesy looking, like one of those weird pre-rendered video game cutscenes you see in the background in the movie. It just felt weird, like they just gave up on trying to have a believable fight scene because they just did not care, because this film was filmed during the Coof pandemic, so yeah, the film definitely had that COVID look to it. It was pretty bad. I mean, the same shit was with that Shazam film. Shazam 2 was bad, but this one's a lot worse. And speaking of worse, the negative, I was absolutely pissed off to see that Black Manta was pretty much second fiddle to some who gives a fuck green demon dude. I don't know his name. So seeing him die in a very anticlimactic way, he just gets swapped aside immediately after he lost the Trident. Like, what the fuck, really? You literally put him all this advertisement and all this shit. only to just literally brush him aside and just say, who cares about him? It's like, I guess it's meant to be funny, but not really. It's just sad. The film, of course, was done during the time where Amber Heard was pretty much public enemy #1, so they noticeably just cut off half her scenes, and it's very noticeable. I mean, I guess it's a good thing because we don't get to see a lot of her really annoying performances and presence, but it still felt weird whenever she just came up and suddenly then she's this big important part, like, oh yeah, remember, she's the mother of Arthur's child, so she needs to be there. So it makes her inclusion feel all the more weird. Because she's barely in the fucking movie and you think she needs to be more, considering she's the protagonist's own wife, so yeah, it's strange. And also strange is the film's pacing. I felt like it went and dragged on for way too long. Compared to the original, which actually had pretty strong pacing, very consistent set pieces, this one just felt very inconsistent. Very boring half the time, just them walking around, talking from really shitty green screens, which is something the original did a lot better on. The action's noticeably a lot more weaker compared to how the original had a lot more consistently great action. The production side of the film was pretty bad, I hated it. The film's attempt at humor is so much worse than the original, which is an accomplishment, because the original didn't really have good humor. But this one's so much worse, especially that one Asian sidekick of Black Manta who, for some reason, keeps him across the whole entire fucking movie, despite the fact that he clearly is disturbed by him and he clearly does not want to be near him and wants to escape. He still lets this dumb fuck stay with him. It then doesn't seem to be that bothered that he gets betrayed on or something. So what the fuck is this writing by making Black Manta into a complete idiot? Which is something that, like, how he was not in the original Aquaman. It's like, what is this? Like, yeah, Warner Brothers knows his shit. James Wan knows his shit. Jason Momoa knows his shit. But they honestly don't care because all three of those guys are pretty much gonna be involved in the new universe except for... And they know the new one's gonna be much more better and consistent in every sense of the word. So them just allowing this turd to prosper like that and fail, they just do not care. They shrug their shoulders and they're like, let's just go on to the next stage.
Know your fucking place, trash.
So in the end, this pretty much this whole universe, if I was to say what I think about the universe, it was a mixed bag. Some good things, but a lot of it was just really bad or forgettable, and that's something you do not want from your cinematic universe. Because Marvel, those phases 1, 2, 3, absolutely magnificent. Yeah, there's a lot of blunders and all that stuff, but it gave us some of the best comic book superhero films of all time. It literally turned people who do not like comic book films into like complete comic book fans. It managed to make literally unknown characters like the Guardians of the Galaxy into household names. It helped kickstart failing actors and turn them into overnight sensations.
I am Iron Man.
And this is what I'm hoping the DC studios would be able to do. They would be able to achieve the heights that Marvel has done, while doing it in a very slow and intricate pace, something that Marvel did. So they can build something as culturally enriching as Marvel. Because you're seeing how Marvel is right now, yeah, they definitely need some competition, because good competition will lead to better, and I mean better products in the long run. I have full faith that this DC Studios project is going to be a really good time. So yeah guys, I'm finally finished with the video. The place that I'm literally recording my audio right now is absolutely dreadful, so I've been slowing down with what I've been making lately because the heat has been draining me. I don't have an air conditioner, nothing, so I need to like save up money in order to buy one, because yeah, these things are so stupid expensive. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what the DCU meant to you. If you disagree with my takes, don't hesitate to comment on the comment section. I love reading and responding to people. Let's have a good talk or all that stuff. And remember, if you like the video, please remember to give it a like and subscribe if you want more of this content. And I shall see you guys soon. Peace out. And I wish you guys have a very chill day. It's the opposite of chill right now for me. Holy crap, man.